Behind me you'll see Dunster Castle towering over one of the most ancient settlements in the whole of Somerset. Not only is it thought to be one of the most haunted locations you'll find in this county, but perhaps even the most haunted village in the whole of Britain. Let's delve into some of these ghost stories from this area and you can decide for yourself. The medieval village of Dunster, with its cobbled streets and timber frame buildings, looks like something out of a storybook. It's a place where time seems to stand still, and one of the few locations where you truly feel like you've been transported back in time. But behind its beauty lie centuries of darker tales, whispers of ghostly monks, restless children, and echoes of violence and war, the scars of which can still be seen today inside of this very yarn market. Dunster's oldest pub, the Luttrell Arms, is situated directly opposite the yarn market. This atmospheric building was originally built in the 1400s as a residence for the abbot of nearby Cleeve Abbey. It's no surprise that tales of monks are tied to this building. Paranormal activity here is said to be common. Footsteps in empty corridors, doors moving on their own, and even whispers directly into the ears of staff. But one of the most unsettling tales comes from one particular bedroom. A young girl staying here once told her father about a new friend who had visited her in the night. When the family was asked if they'd like to return, the father replied that he would like the same room again, to which the girl turned and said, "But Daddy, what about the little girl who came to us in the night?" The nunnery is one of Dunster's most ancient buildings. Its name is a bit misleading. No nuns ever lived here. In fact, the name was added during the Victorian period. The truth is that this beautiful 15th century house once served as a guest house for pilgrims visiting the priory here in Dunster, which was an important place of pilgrimage in the medieval period. Perhaps given its long history, it's no surprise that the nunnery has a haunted reputation. Many who have stayed here speak of unsettling feelings or strange sounds echoing through the night. One report from the 1970s tells of a woman who awoke to see a ghost of a figure she described as the White Lady. Terrified, she screamed and woke up her husband, but by then the apparition had vanished and she was simply told to be quiet and go back to sleep. Standing guard over Dunster for nearly 1,000 years, the castle is said to be one of the most haunted places in Somerset. Perhaps the most famous ghost story relating to the castle is the Grey Lady, who has been seen by many over the years silently drifting down the staircase before vanishing into thin air. The stables here are said to be haunted by the Green Man, but there's another less well-known haunting, but this doesn't involve the visualizations of an apparition. Instead, it's the mysterious sound of coins that can be heard chinking together. This is often heard around the castle's ancient gates. Some have interpreted this sound to be a spectral echo from an early civil war known as the Anarchy that Dunster played a part in, a time of civil war when coins are thought to have been minted here inside of the castle walls. Centuries may have passed, but it seems the sounds of that dark time still linger. We're now heading to Priory Green, an area which seems to be the most haunted location of Dunster. Monks would have walked these very paths for centuries, and many of the buildings that you can see here date to that period. It perhaps comes as no surprise then that there's been numerous reports of spectral monks witnessed in this location over the years, but the majority of sightings seem to occur in what was the heart of the monastic estate. This is the location I'm entering now. You've got the tithe barn just here where they would have stored their tithe payments, and just opposite is the dovecot, an ancient building that would have been used by the monks of Dunster. I've personally spoken to many people who truly believe they've seen the spirit of a monk in this very location. Perhaps that comes as no surprise given the history of this area. It's as though these stones and walls hold the memories of those monks that lived here for centuries, echoing still until the modern day. This location here was turned into the kitchen gardens of Dunster Castle in the 1700s, but historically the priory would have stood in this very location. It's amazing to think that if we go back 500 years, I would actually be stood inside of the priory itself. Given the history of this very location, I think it really adds value to all of those ghost sightings. Unfortunately, the priory is now long gone, but if you know where to look, there's still traces to be found. The old priory bed and breakfast is the largest remaining part of the priory, and it's thought that this building was once actually the prior's lodgings. It's best viewed from the graveyard of St George's Church, where you can get a real good view of the building and really appreciate its age. I've been informed by the owner that it's not haunted, but given the amount of ghostly monks surrounding this area, who knows what spirits might reside inside. The graveyard of St George's Church is also said to be haunted, with the most common ghost said to be a soldier in Civil War era clothing. This is a story that I've read from a number of different sources, but interestingly, when I was speaking to the church warden's wife last year, she explained to me that just recently she had somebody truly believe that as she was walking through the graveyard, she had the ghost of a soldier approach her before fading away. Dunster may be one of Somerset's most beautiful villages, but it's also one of its most haunted. From the priory and the churchyard to the inns and the castle itself, ghostly tales are woven into its very fabric. Do you think Dunster deserves the title of Britain's most haunted village? Let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this journey into the darker side of our past, please like and subscribe for more.